How did the role of Greta come to you in the first place for Ferdinand?
It just came through as a straight offer, and I thought it was because I'd recently done an interview where I'd said my life in books, and my book from childhood I'd given as Ferdinand the Bull, because it was my dad's favourite book when he was a kid, and for a brief period of my childhood, my dad worked for British Airways and we lived abroad, and we got evacuated from Beirut when the war started and went to live with my grandparents, and so this was pretty much the only kids' book in the house, and I read it and read it and read it. But actually, I think it was probably more that I play a Finnish character on Veep, and I think someone thought I was actually Austrian, which I'm not. And then the other two horses one is Austrian and one is German, so I felt slightly exposed. My accent felt a bit cruddy, I must say.
I am not a fighting bull. Can you guys help me out?
This is the beautiful horsey side, and that is the stinky bull side. Have a nice day smelling terrible. Hi, Hoof Klaus. Hi, Hoof Greta.
What do you think with the film? What would be the message you think that kids will take from it? What would you like them to take from it?
Well, I think what's interesting, I mean, because we have had quite a lot of kids' movies that say, or all kinds of movies that have said, just be yourself, it's the only person you can be. But it doesn't feel at all trite, although it is sort of saying that. It feels much more inclusive than to me. I don't know if you felt the same way, but it felt much more inclusive than other films like that. And also, I felt it was like, it was quite shocking to have family movie scenes in an abattoir.
Yeah,
and of course, the whole, just the bullfighting itself with the... So I don't mean it felt like the stakes were really high for a family movie. I thought it was great for that reason, actually.
Yeah.
Because we all remember the bit in Toy Story 3 when they're going to be obliterated. But this was kind of constant threat, wasn't it, throughout?
I think kids quite like that as well, that they feel like they're being treated as grown-ups, being able to see something like that.
What I was struck by was that... So I went with my dad, who's 74, and then Ollie, who's got Down syndrome, who's 13, Luke, who's 10 and thinks he's too grown up for animations generally, but was fine, and the 6-year-old, and all of them loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
how did they feel about Mum being in it?
Little one hated it. He went, Mum, you're a show-off and you need to just stay at home like a proper mummy. So that was me told.
Were they more impressed by the fact that John Cena was there?
They were very excited about that, yeah. Because we've got the doll. I don't know if you do. We've got some WWE dolls, and also my younger two play WWE in their pants on my bed all the time, which is why the bed is slightly broken. So they wrestle each other, throw each other around on my bed. They go WWE, and they hurl each other to the ground. And
so they're far more impressed by that than the fact that Mum's in a big animated movie.
Definitely. I'm quite impressed I'm in it, though. I'm astonished I'm in it, absolutely thrilled. And also it was really good. It's like, thank goodness.
Who's my good boy?
I had the perfect life. Until one day, all yours, little guy, everything changed. There's been a mistake! Nina!
But is it a very hard thing to do because you're just in a cubicle sort of speaking rather than acting against somebody?
I think it is quite hard to do, yeah. I think it's quite hard to do radio as well, because you have to get so much into the voice. You have to weirdly be much more physical than you would be if the camera was on you. Well, everyone's seen the footage of Robin Williams doing the genie. And I saw David Tennant doing his session. I mean, I dread to think what I looked like, but David Tennant doing his session afterwards. And you needed padded walls, really. He was just hurling himself around. He plays Angus in the film brilliantly, I think.
Yeah.
You're well sweaty at the end of it.
I mean, how would you describe Greta to anybody that's coming to see the film? What do you think of her character?
I think she's extremely vain, very, very self-absorbed, really wanting the attention of Hans, the lead. She's an Austrian Lipizzaner pony who believes that bulls are trashy, and that Lipizzaner horses are the most superior, most evolved creatures on Earth. And and she's wrong.
Last question I have to ask. The film's going up all over the world against Last Jedi, which is quite a big film for it to go up against. So I was just wondering, what would you say to people to get them to go and see Ferdinand rather than a new Star Wars movie?
Well, there've been so many Star Wars movies now. Like, what? Really? Whereas there's only one of these, and there can only be one of these. And I think that Star Wars will be fine to watch on your phone. Whereas there's some really small creatures in this that really you can only enjoy in the cinema. Plus, you know, John Cena's really good. Now that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That is interesting. David Tennant's in it.
And you're in it.
And I'm in it. I'm in it. That's less of a draw. But I mean, you know, David Tennant's in it and John Cena's in it. Yeah, it's genuinely really good. I think there's nothing beats. I think the kid audiences are the most discerning. And so often people are disappointed with Star Wars movies, aren't they?